Welcome back, everyone. Toyshiz here, and I am back yet again to give you guys another fresh look. And today, we are totally checking out 4 Batmans and a Zod, some of the brand new McFarlane Toys' DC Multiverse figures that I actually found at my local Walmart. The big ol' The Batman movie aisle container shipper was sitting out there, finally, right? And they had so many, even though it was kind of picked through, they still had a ton left, so I was very stoked to find the ones that I really wanted, like this Batman Dark Detective. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, wow, there's a lot of Batmans, consistently making Batmans. Well, yeah, if you haven't read DC Comics lately, there is a lot of Batmans going on, and this is from the Future State storyline, so kind of a different take, different universe, whatever you want to call it. Here's the barcode for him. As with the new Batman DC Rebirth figure. Now, I feel like I may already have this figure in some way, some fashion, but I've heard great things about this guy, so definitely had to pick him up. Here's the barcode for that guy as well. And then Batman, no, I'm just kidding. It's Batman dressed up as General Zod, right? Now, Superman villain, General Zod, always nice to have a new DC Comics villain thrown in the mix. Here's the barcode for Zod. And then, this is the one that I really wanted, because I'm actually a big fan of this costume. I like what they're doing with the character. So this is the Tim Fox, or Jace Fox, version of Batman. He's the new Batman in Future State, fighting the magistrates. Everything rhymes in the future, apparently. So, this is going to be fun. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at some of the brand new McFarlane Toys' DC Multiverse, a bunch of different Batmans, and a General Zod. And while I got all you multiverses here, I just want to say thanks so much for always checking out my videos. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Old toys, new toys, daily news updates. I guarantee you'll find something here that you like. Also, I wanted to say a huge congratulations to the winner of my McFarlane Toys Endless Winter giveaway, Scotty. Congratulations, a winner is you. Scotty doesn't know, or he knows now, right, that he is won. So, Scotty, go ahead and message me on the back end of my channel, and I'll get your information to get these all out. But we got some figures to look at, right? So, to kick it off, we will start with the Future State Batman. If you're not familiar with this character, who this character is, even though he's outfitted like a Batman in a trench coat, right? This is actually Bruce Wayne. Through a series of stories, he becomes kind of homeless, yada yada, but it is Bruce Wayne. He comes with this accessory. It's not a great accessory. We'll say this. It is, however, it is straight out of the comics. We'll say that, so you can see right here, at least in this cover right here, there it is, sitting right there. However, it doesn't do anything. It can kind of fit inside his belt, right? There's no big loop, there's nothing to really kind of attach it to him, as you do see in the artwork, right? But you can kind of press it in between his trench coat and the figure itself, and yeah, he does hold it, but it just kind of looks awkward. It's an awkward weapon, doesn't do anything. If it was, again, like a string or something like that, or a bendy wire, infinitely better. But yeah, it's just kind of there, to be quite honest with you. But the figure itself is actually pretty well done, at least in the sculpt, right? When you kind of take a step back and you look at it, you go, okay, yeah, that's this character design, minus the fact that this one doesn't have the trench coat. The figure does. He looks good. They pretty much nailed it. I'll give it to him all day. I really like the helmet they got going on. Underneath, you can see the bat emblem. He's got all the different armors. He doesn't look like the traditional Batman. He has semblances of the costume, like the utility belts, we'll just say. He's got lots of pouches and everything else to make Rob Liefeld blush. I do like this figure overall. You can see, yeah, he does have thigh cut, thigh swivel as well, which I'm sure that will come in handy, right? Probably for a vehicle sometime down the road. He's got knee pads, he's got peg holes on the bottom of his feet. He's got one heck of a really cool, let's say, Batman duster trench coat. It's a very hard plastic, though. It's malleable, but it's not as soft as I would like it. However, they did do a great job at putting texture, detail, and like this white dry brush, something like that, to really kind of make it look disheveled. So very well done in that sense. The arms get incredibly hindered, at least at the shoulders. We'll say that. He does have bicep swivel, that it doesn't work, right? It's there, but it doesn't have much function to it. The elbows, as you can see, double jointed, but it's not painted well at all. It's actually kind of like, well, what's even the point? It looks pretty bad. The gloves are purple. Nice little throwback to Batman, right? The original, years, Batman year, whatever you want to call it at that point. Batman at some point had purple gloves. We'll just say that. He will kick off to the side. Again, like I said, thigh swivel, so wouldn't be surprised if this Batman gets a bat cycle at some point down the road. Now, I did situate mine on one of my new favorite bat cycles. There's a ton of bat cycles. He does look good. I wouldn't say that he fits perfectly, but you can, again, with the thigh swivel, make it work. He only has one steering gripping hand, right? So the other one's a fisted hand, so you can't really do much, but he looks good standing next to it. I do like it in that sense. He's got double jointed knees, which work really cool. And then he's got some interesting joints, at least in how they kind of designed it for the feet. So they do work well. He's got toe articulation. He's got like little mini bat boots, right? Very cool overall, the armor. So again, the articulation will work for you. You can get him into some poses and such here and there. He's not overly articulated. He's not going to overly just do whatever you want. But if you're looking for a cool looking future state Batman, he is pretty cool. I do like this figure, and in terms of scalature, so he'll go with Blackout, just random characters here and there where you can get the idea of how these kind of go. So yeah, he's a little bit taller in some sense, but he'll go with the majority of characters, much like the DC Rebirth Batman. Now this guy, again, not always my favorite look. This seems to be the most recent look that's really kind of stayed with Batman in most semblances. He does come with a grappling hook, and it's all right. It's like the gas gun grappling hook combo. Nothing comes out, nothing moves. There's no paint, solid black. It's cool, but it's just kind of there. Much like the Batarang, I just think that this is entirely too big. The Batarangs are entirely too big. McFarlane toys, just saying, smaller stuff. But in terms of how they've captured the look, the artwork, it's actually a pretty solid Batman figure. And I've seen a lot of people post really gorgeous photos and talk about him online. And yeah, I'm happy to say that the cape is cool. They even painted the underside of the cape, which Marvel Legends did not do with the recent Hobgoblin. You'll hear about me talking about that coming up in one of my new Spider-Man videos. Articulation, you get the head looking all the way up. That's cool. In terms of the shoulder articulation, I mean, you can get the arms up. Not much hindrance because of the cape. It won't go all the way straight up, but it's fine for my tastes in that sense. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrists. He does have actually some semblance of an ab crunch. We are getting better, right? We saw that in some of the few of the Endless Winter figures, and now, yeah, I like the way this figure moves, especially in the abdomen and such. So I like that. Keep that going. Nothing at the thigh, kick out, kick to the side, double jointed knees, and then, of course, he's got the boots and the swivel and all that jazz. So that works in that sense, but not overly articulated. I do like just how they've kind of made the articulation points, cuts, a little bit more fluid. It looks a little bit better, except for the gloves and how this is kind of attached here. It's not the most attractive thing. It actually looks like an error. Let me know if yours is like that, but it looks like the plastic didn't form right, something like that. But on the back side, the paint goes all the way around. So yeah, definitely does look cool, especially when you get him in those poses, right? So you give him the grappling gun. It looks good. Yeah, you can get him looking up. You get him in that stance where he's just about to shoot the rope up, climb up the building, something like that. To reiterate, the Batarang, like if you're going to pose him like this, you won't really notice it. But the Batarang is entirely too big. Smaller Batarangs, that's all I'm going to say. If you're a big fan of Rebirth, you can put him next to, like, say, a Rebirth Superman. I actually think these two go together well. So really some nitpicks here and there, but not a bad looking Batman. Same with this Batman. You thought the Batmans were over? No, we got plenty more Batmans to talk about. So this is the Tim Fox, or Jace Fox, how he's kind of nicknamed, the future state Batman. He took over for Bruce Wayne, even though the Dark Detective Batman is Batman. He does come with a gold Batarang. It's a smaller Batarang. Look at that, right? It's more form-fitting. It looks like you'd throw this, whereas the other one looks like a dinner plate. Something like that. He comes with extra hands. They are trigger, weapon, finger, gun holding hands, so not the best choice. He does come with fisted hands, though, which actually work really well because you get a really cool looking Batman. Now, if you notice, he does have a face plate over the typical mouth/nose, just to cover his identity better. I like this costume design. I think it just looks cool. It looks like a futuristic type Batman while still also being very much Batman. He's got a great cape to him. Overall, the design really does match up perfectly with the comic books. And I really like, again, what they've done here in capturing this particular character taking over the mantle as far as right now for Bruce Wayne. Nice articulation in the head. You get him looking all the way up. The arms will go all the way up, but you kind of have to fight the shoulder pads if you want the arms to go off to the side. They're kind of odd. You'd think that they would go up a little bit more or maybe fit into a slot. No, it just kind of doesn't do it, oddly enough. So there you go. He does have bicep swivel. He's got double jointed elbows. He does have, we'll say, waist articulation. Not much of an ab crunch at all. We'll kind of go back. He does have a actual waist. Yeah, there it is right there. So that works. Nice belt, kicks off to the side. I just like, again, the way it's designed. The armor pieces, how it all kinds of fits. I like his boots especially. I like you got the tips that the Batman Year 2 did not have. Nice boots overall, feet articulation, yada, yada. One thing I really would have wished they would have done is either have a removable faceplate or have the unmasked Tim Fox head. That would have been really cool to add to this Batman because, yeah, that's why I really like this particular version. And in holding the Batarang and kind of getting him all situated, he looks cool. This is a very cool, this is my favorite of the bunch. Dark Detective being the second, of course, which those two characters go together in the new comic book Future State. They meet up. One's Bruce Wayne, one's Tim Fox, so they actually go together quite nicely. So if you wanted to get both, they would definitely look good. And I'm pretty impressed they got these characters out so fast as much as they did. They're both around maybe about a year old now, I should say. In terms of scalature, if you wanted to put them up with Aquaman or other Justice League figures, while he wouldn't go like story-wise, you could do that if you wanted this to be your Batman. And yes, we are looking at a lot of Batmans. That's what's kind of nice about McFarlane. You don't have to get them all. I've kind of already broken my rule. I've tried, right? Although I passed on a few things here and there, the video game stuff. But I like these three Batmans. I think they're pretty solid. They're all different. They're all different sculpts. They got their own thing going on. They got their own paint. Whereas they're not repainted one Batman and he's got a different belt and stuff. It's all three different Batmans, so I'll definitely give him credit for that all day. You can't go wrong with either of these Batmans if these Batmans be your choices. Now, to finally talk about a non-Batman related figure, right? Go figure. Yeah, they actually make other things besides Batman. Sometimes we have General Zod, which is a cool Superman villain. He comes with a bunch of extra hands, which it's great, but he suffers from baby hands syndrome. He's got really tiny little hands, and now seeing it up close in hand, yeah, no pun intended, you definitely notice. Except for his more outstretched, grabby hands. Those work. He's got some really cool design aspects to him. Really nice armor going on, really nice paint. He's kind of got that whole Superman Beyond logo going on if it was in whites, but here it's in red, kind of like the little nonchalant S. Nice gold here and there mixed in with the silver. Nice armor. It works. The diaper thing goes either way for me. It's very diaperish, but you notice it when you're kind of moving him around, basically. Nice cape. Very cool looking Zod. Although I will say, I don't know what I think about when I think of Zod. Nice whoa! Yeah, no, that went for miles, right? Be careful. Nothing broke, but yeah, when you're trying to articulate the head, it just like popped right off and went sailing, right? So just keep that in mind. And then you have the arms, which the armor on the shoulder pad on this side is very clunky, right? You can get the arms, kind of do what you want, kind of, sort of, but that piece will definitely get in the way. He's got bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and he's got his, well, normal hands right here, normal grabby hands, which I like those hands. Looks like he's going to bend like a steel girder or grabbing someone's neck. This side, however, gets incredibly hindered by his big old Zod cape. So that's something to consider. Then you've got some semblance of an ab crunch. Really, it moves. We'll just say that. Upper torso and then the waist. The diaper, like I said, kind of goes either way for me. Double jointed knees, the feet, the toes, usual articulation in the feet and stuff. So overall, it really isn't a bad Zod, but it's not a great figure either. Like, I'm happy I have it in terms of having a villain, right? But you can kind of get him in those Superman / Kryptonian flying poses. But he's not my favorite of the bunch. We'll just say that, oddly enough, out of all the Batmans. The one thing, though, like I said, he's got baby hands. But what I did notice is that if you take the Tim Fox Batman and you swap those hands out, which you can do flawlessly, right? Even they match up with the gloves and such. Yeah, you can totally have that kind of new hand option for this particular Batman. So that's pretty cool. In terms of scalature, going with the classic sort of Superman, even though this is more like the DC Rebirth version or whatever version you want to call him. And before anybody asks if you want like an old man Superman, it does not work. That's really funny. Don't do it. But again, like I said, it's nice to have more villains, more choice of villains. You have a Shazam villain, and now you got a Superman villain as well. And just before we go, like I said, there were 4 Batmans in this video. I got this guy a while ago, but just wanted to kind of go over it real quick. Now, this is the anti-Amazo virus HAZBAT Batman, right? But this is the light-up Target exclusive version, right? You can see this thing right here. It says pull. So you pull this out. And then we'll shut the lights off here, get this all going. There's not much to this, but this is, if you wanted it, this is what's kind of cool. You turn it on and yeah, you get a big old flashy Batman symbol right there. It's pretty bright light. I'll give it to him all day. It works well. Honestly, in terms of either or, get the light up version if you had to have this figure. He's pretty cool. And like I said, I mean, it's something interesting. I like these old-fashioned type of gimmicks where you have a projectile launcher or a light-up mechanism, and it's simple, it's easy peasy, but at the same time, it's interesting. It adds a little something to your figure. So yeah, it's not a bad thing at all. It's gimmicky as all holy heck, but you know, it stands out in your collection, as do these new figures, right? There's some nitpicks here and there. There's some like, you know, the articulation kind of goes either way, but for the most part, yeah, they're all pretty solid figures. I like to see some advancements. They're in the right track, we'll say that. Some of the articulation gets hindered by trench coats, right? Some of the weapons don't exactly work. Too big of batarangs. Sometimes the rope gimmicks with weapons and stuff don't work. Entirely too small of hands, at least for all the different hand swap outs for General Zod, but I like that you can kind of start swapping hands between different figures. That's not ideal, but at least it's something. Also, I noticed that the heads are starting to become easier to swap. They don't always swap perfectly with other figures and characters and stuff like that, but I like to see these improvements. So they're on the right track, and I'm curious to see where they will be taking them shortly. So I don't recommend every single one of these Batmans. I would say kind of pick and choose the ones that you definitely have to have, of course. General Zod, he's going to go either way. Largely, he's pretty good, but there's some nitpicks, of course. But in either case, I am curious to know what you guys think about these new figures. Are they for you? Will you be grabbing? Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything DC Multiverse. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, it's off to see the Batman movie. Fingers crossed. Really looking forward to it. I hear it's really good. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.